Hello viewers, welcome to the math class Form 3. But before we can go to today's chapter, please, wherever you are, I'm reminding you to observe social distance, put on your mask, and please tell your neighbor that people are dying, COVID is real, so they should observe all the SOPs. Today's topic, we are going to look at matrices. A definition of a matrix is a rectangular array of numbers. But for simple understanding, we can define a matrix as a way of representing information using rows and columns. A matrix is denoted by a capital letter if it is to be represented. E.g., we have a matrix A capital equaling to 2, 3, 5, 6. We are having lines which are running from west to east. Those are called rows. In this example, we have 2, 3, and 5, 6 lines moving in the horizontal direction. When we come to 2, 5, 3, 6, those are in the vertical direction, running from north to south. So those ones are referred to as columns. But to every matrix, whatever is inside the brackets is referred to as element of a matrix. And each element of a matrix has got a particular position. So if we take an example of matrix M, it has elements A, B, C, D, E, and F. Element A is in row 1, column 1, which we can write as R1, C1. Element B is in row 1, column 2. Element F is in row 2, column 3. Matrices have types, and the first one we can look at what we call a row matrix. A row matrix is a matrix with a single row, implying it has only one line, the horizontal. It has only one line, the horizontal one, west to east, but many columns, meaning the lines running from north to south are more than one. The example we have is 10, 5, 3. That one shows clear that we have one row and many columns. 2, we have what we call a column matrix. Is a matrix with many rows but having a single column. So if you looked at the first example, which is a row matrix, this time if you interchange those figures and write them in a vertical way, 10, 5, 3 in a vertical way, then it becomes a column matrix, which will be having one column but 3 rows. 3 is a zero matrix. A zero matrix is a matrix having all elements zeros. 4, we have what we call a square matrix. And a square matrix is a matrix with equal number of rows and columns. For example, we have a matrix with 2 rows and 2 columns. That is a square matrix. Then we have a matrix with 3 rows and 3 columns. So that is a matrix which is a square. As long as the columns are equal to the rows, then it is referred to as a square matrix. We have a special case of a square matrix where we have the same element in the leading diagonal, but the rest of the members are zeros. Such a matrix is said to be identical, or we can say it is an identity matrix. An example we have there, when we look at a matrix with 2 rows and 2 columns, it has letter B in the major diagonal and the rest are zeros. In the second example, we have letter B in the leading diagonal or major diagonal, and the rest of the members are what? Are zeros. But it has 3 rows and 3 columns. But if our letter B is 1, it is a square matrix, and the element in the leading diagonal is a 1, all we can say is unit, then that matrix is said to be a unity matrix. We have I2 equaling to 1, 0, 0, 1. It has 2 rows, 2 columns, meaning it is a unity matrix of order 2. 2 columns and 2 rows. I3 stands for unity matrix of order 3. We have 3 rows and 3 columns. Order of a matrix. What do we mean by order of a matrix? It helps us to describe a matrix using rows and columns. As I've said in the previous unity matrices, we said a matrix of order 2 and order 3. So now in this example we have matrix A has got elements A, B, C, D, E, and F. It has 2 rows and 2 columns. So its order is a 2 by 3. We write it as 2 times 3, but we read it as a 2 by 3. In matrices, the multiplication sign will not mean multiplication. Importance of a matrix, or importance of matrices. There are so many, but a few we can talk about them. We can look at a simple example of classroom seating arrangement. If you looked at a class having Jane, Sarah, Fiona, Betty, Carol, Helena, Joan, Madeline, Peace. Helena has a particular position. She sits in row 3, column 2. So matrices can help us to identify the position of a person in a classroom. Then also where we have routine work done, maybe in a factory where they are packing items differently depending on where they are going. An example I will take, if I looked at a factory packing biscuits going to town and to village, we are looking at a situation where the first tray always contains chocolate biscuits, Then the second tray or the middle tray has Jinga biscuits. And the last one or the third one has plain biscuits. So if we are packing packets going to town, you may find that we pack 7 chocolate biscuits, 3 Jinga and 2 plain. Then the one going to village, we pack 3 chocolate biscuits, 3 Jinga and 6 plain biscuits. So if the workers are used to the trays that the first is chocolate, second Jinga and the third is plain, we can fuse the package in a matrix, the packing order in a matrix form of matrix 733, meaning the first row represents town, the second row represents village. The shoppings we do at home can also be represented in matrix form. An example, if we have Ruth and Jane who went to a market for shopping, Ruth bought 2 apples, 6 markers, 5 cans of ice cream, and 1 art book. Jane bought 5 apples, 3 art books, and a half dozen of markers. The cost of an apple was shillings 1,200, a mark is shillings 1,000, can of ice shillings 2,500, and an art book 3,000. We can write a 2 by 4 matrix of items purchased. You can see how the purchases are represented in a table, and from a table we can form a matrix. Then also the costs for the different items can be represented in a matrix of 4 by 1. The 4, we are seeing we have 4 rows, okay? So the order of that matrix is a 4 by 1. 4 rows, 1 column. The one of items is a 2 by 4. We have 2 rows and 4 columns. Thanks for listening, and I urge you to see this video several times before you can attempt the assignment. Remember to sanitize and wear your masks. We still need you. We need Uganda having elites. Please download the assignment and do it. The assignment is Senior 3 Matrices Exercise 1 from the link below.